Did blasting by illegal miners trigger the Lily Mine collapse? Why were the underground operations at Lily Mine suspended? How long will it take to find the container and the 3 trapped mine workers? Is this a rescue or a recovery mission? What time is it? It is question time. Welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Sedu. 2 months ago, a lamp container in which Yvonne Mnisi, Mabuza and Solomon Nyarenda were working disappeared into a sinkhole at Vantage Goldfields Lily Mine in Barberton Mpumalanga. At the beginning of March, an emergency escape tunnel that was drilled to reach the mine workers was declared too dangerous to use, compounded by the fact that the ground at Lily Mine was unstable. Meanwhile, mine officials say the mine has to be operational in order to continue the search for 3 workers still trapped underground. They say the move will not only ensure that rescue operations continue, but it will also secure workers' salaries. We are live. Therefore, you can call us. Air your views. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210. Our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. My guest, Professor Kim Hain. She's a professor of mining geology at Wits University, and Coetzee Zitzman, who is the spokesperson for Lily Mine. Let me welcome both of you to Question Time. Let me start with you at the mine there. How many days are we today?
Well, basically, we're into our 2nd month of the disaster.
Okay.
Since the 5th of February.
Yes. And have you confirmed that the sink was caused by illegal blasting that took place 2 days earlier?
No, not at all. I think the reason that mine collapsed and the sinkhole formed will be a discussion point for a long time to come. There will be an investigation as required by law. Some of the best people in the industry and around the world will come and investigate and try and figure out why the mine collapsed. The professor sitting next to me, will also, is in a much better position to answer that question than I am. At this point, we simply don't know. We are not aware of any illegal mining happening at our mine prior to that. I'm not sure where that statement comes from, definitely not from us.
Okay, I will show you where it comes from. The security firm that operates at the mine have confirmed that there were explosives that were brought in by illegal miners. Do you know that?
No, we don't know that, and I think you should then be asking that question to the firm you're referring to.
Well, they're saying they gave it to your CEO. They informed your CEO that there is zamazamas, as they are called, and they blasted 2 days before that.
Like I say, then that information will most definitely form part of the investigation that's going to follow, and it will be considered like all other information around this incident.
So do you not know of any zamazamas in that area?
No, we don't know of zamazamas in that area. We are aware of a zamazama problem in the mining industry in South Africa.
Yes.
In general, but it's not something that we consider to be a big issue or even an issue in our mine. Ours is a small mine. It's not the same size as the gold mines in the rest of the country.
Okay. Who is Mike McChesney?
It's our CEO.
Okay. Your CEO, in that case, confirmed to the Lowfelder that he has received information at the end of January indicating a spike in illegal activity at the mine. 2 days before the crown pillar collapse, those zamazamas carried out blasting operations there.
Okay, he's confirming that he got that information.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Johnny Carswell who is the MD of High-Tech Security Lowveld, said he received information about groups entering the mine with explosives and informed your CEO.
He said he got information. Okay, yeah. That might be.
Yeah, but this is your head of security. Why do you not take it up if he's saying that there are illegal people entering the mine?
No, I think it would have been taken up, right? The only thing I'm saying is you are saying so-and-so said and so-and-so said.
Yes.
There's no confirmation of any of that facts anyway. And like I said from the start, if there was that problem, if that was the reason why the mine collapsed, then that information will be made available to the Commission of Inquiry that's surely to follow this. And that, and that information will form part of the, of the report that tells us why the collapse happened.
Do you also at least accept that the illegal blasting could have affected the ground there?
No, I can't accept it because we simply don't have facts around that. At this point, he said, so-and-so said.
Okay.
There's no fact in anything that you've said. It's allegations. And again, like I say, that will form part of the investigation.
Who is Mike Begg?
Mike Begg is the operations manager at the mine.
Okay. Mike Begg says it is possible that illegal blasting could have affected the stability of the area.
Yes, it's of course possible. That doesn't mean it happened.
Okay. Prof, what could, except for the Zamazamas, cause a sinkhole?
A sinkhole is formed when the ground that is between the mining operation below and the surface fails for one reason or another, a fracture, a fault, an instability, even a small earthquake, as we often have here in the Klerksdorp region and so on, could do that. But in this case, we're not sure what caused the failure of that crown pillar. A crown pillar is there to actually protect the underground mining operations. And so the failure of the crown pillar is a really major problem because they're designed not to fail, ever. And there should not be a sinkhole there. One of the concerns, I do want to speak on the Zamazama issue. I actually have a student there, Khotatso Shlengetwa, who is doing a PhD on Zamazama mining in that region. And there are three types there. You have the small-scale miner who has a permit from government and is completely legal. And then we have the customary and traditional miners who historically have a right from the headman or the chief to actually mine a particular area, but who may or may not hold a permit from government. But then we have the traditional illegal Zamazama miners who are not necessarily, they don't have customary right from a headman or a chief, so they don't pay a duty or a royalty to government or to the local community and are truly illegally operating and stealing the resource. Often these guys are foreigners, sometimes they're not foreigners, they're local people. But they're definitely in that area and they've been there for centuries working.
But your colleagues, Prof, and I'm talking geologists here, geological experts, are saying that mine has anyway been too dangerous.
I'm not sure who said that. All mining operations are dangerous.
Correct.
There is no mine which is not, which is why there's an Occupational Health and Safety Act and many regulations that control how mining is done. The last thing you want is a mine to fail. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the risks are very high in mining and all mines are unsafe. I'm not particularly convinced that this mine was any more dangerous than any other mine that we have in South Africa or on the African continent for that matter. In fact, I've been in mines in Africa which are vastly more dangerous than the ones in the Barberton region in this region. So I'm not quite sure that's true. I would like to see the evidence to support that.
At what level are you? Are you conducting rescue or are you on recovery?
No, I think everybody knows the facts around this and the time that has elapsed. So obviously it's not a rescue mission anymore. Obviously it's a recovery mission. But at this point we're not doing anything. I also just want to put something straight that you said during your introduction. The second shaft that we sunk, to make it possible for us to go back into the mine, wasn't actually drilled towards the container. It was drilled roughly 800 meters away.
Yes.
To act as an escape shaft. And I think this is something that people gets confused a lot. They think of the Chile mine that happened there and the technology that was used. We used that same technology, but not to drill towards the container because the ground is too unstable. So after drilling the second emergency escape hole, that gave us 2 exits out of the mine, right? So it means we could send rescue teams down. They went down, assessed the situation, came back with a report and say, no, it's still too dangerous. We cannot start digging. The ground is too unstable. And then all rescue operations, all recovery operations were stopped at that time. The next plan, that was our plan A. That didn't work out. The next plan was then a plan to create a new portal into the mine, like a proper shaft running at an incline. That would allow us to take big mining equipment down into the mine and to do 2 things, to continue searching for the container on the one hand, and on the other hand, also to resume mining operations.
Yes.
Obviously, you can appreciate the fact that we haven't been mining for 2 months, so that obviously has a huge financial impact on the mine. So it's important for us and also for the community at large there, because most of the people living in that area are dependent on these mines for an income.
Correct.
To start operations again and make sure that that we keep on paying people who work for our salaries.
Are you currently paying those people?
Yeah, we are still paying salaries at this point. You are also aware of the fact that we are now officially in business rescue. A business rescue practitioner has been appointed and has already started working. And that is kind of taking over the process. The practitioner takes over management literally from us, and then work with all stakeholders, including the unions, including the workers, mine management, to come up with a solution so that we can weather the storm and get to a point where we can come out of business rescue and start mining again.
Do you think you were prepared, and perhaps I should say, were you well prepared for an eventuality of this nature?
The answer is no, and I'll tell you why. We are very well prepared to deal with accidents underground, right? The moment the rockfall happened, the sinkhole formed, all our emergency plans were in place. The workers who were underground at that point, within 2.5 hours, they came out, right? Nothing happened to them. They were fine. They're a little bit shaken up. But nobody even needed to be hospitalized or anything, But the one thing that nobody prepared for is that surface workers in a container would end up at the bottom of that hole.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break. A reminder that you can call us and air your views on the numbers 089-1104-210 and our Twitter handle @QuestionTime24. We shall return.
Tonight in an SABC exclusive news expose, we show you how firearm proficiency certificates are fraudulently sold for a few thousand rand.
What you did was illegal. Do you at least acknowledge that? What you did is illegal.
I say it could be probably illegal.
Nigeria is Africa's second largest tomato producer.
The chief executive of Enrisco says he started the company with a capital of $75 million.
The problem now is that the market has been created in China.
He says that doing business in the country is becoming more difficult every day.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest, Professor Kim Hain. She's a professor of mining geology at Wits University. Kutsia Zitzman is the Lily Mine spokesperson. Welcome back. Prof, do we still need you in the mining industry if you can't tell us that we're going to have that type of an accident?
Yes, of course you need me in the mining. The constraining the geology and the engineering of a mine is an ongoing process. As mining is proceeding, you need to map that ore body or that underground development or surface development. And you need to constantly check the internal stability of the mine, so you're looking for features which can fail. We typically refer to that as wedges, creating instabilities that will actually fail in a mine. You don't want to have that. And so that dictates how you support underground, what methodologies you use for mining, even the degree of blasting, even the amount of blast material that you use. So all of that information is quite critical and has to be collected on a daily basis in a mine as the mine is being worked. You must understand the whole system is adjusting every time that you remove earth from underground. And so you obviously have to have them, which is why we continue to train students in geosciences and in mining engineering, because we need resources, and so we need to maintain those skills, particularly for South Africa, where a large part of our economy is dependent upon that. So yes, of course you do need us.
Okay. Butani, you are in Limpopo.
Thank you very much, Mpo, for taking my call.
You're welcome.
But we must be mindful that we are dealing with lives which at this stage might have been lost underground. And I feel it is very insensitive of us at this stage to be asking the question, who is at fault and who's not? I think I am still hopeful that it is a rescue and not a recovering mission. So I think at this stage, let us join hands so that we allow the Lily Mine to get the container with or without life. Then we should start asking ourselves who is at fault at that stage. I think we're still at an early stage now to be pointing fingers at who's wrong and who's right.
Okay, Butani, thank you very much. Some words of comfort there.
I can't agree with him more.
But should we not ask questions?
Yes, we should, of course, ask questions. And believe me that the difficult questions you asked me earlier are nothing compared to the questions that mine management are asking themselves at this point. And we are committed to find out why this happened. We are committed to take learnings from that and move forward, make our mine safer, but also make sure that that information is available to mining in South Africa in general, to also help other mines to operate safer.
Are you sure that you are still going to mine?
Yeah, we have no reason to believe that we won't be able to mine.
Well, you are on the brink of financial collapse.
Yeah, I think maybe people don't understand the process of business rescue correctly. We won't be the first company in South Africa to go into business rescue and come out doing business on the other side. And we definitely won't be the last. Business rescue is a mechanism in our law that protects us in cases like this, and to make sure that we can go through a process where we are restructuring the mine, finding new investors. And after that process is completed, then the business comes out of business rescue, and we continue mining. We were mining profitably before this. We have a nice ore body down there that's giving us good yields, and will still do for many years to come. So there's no reason why we can't redevelop the mine, restructure the business, and continue mining.
Chris, you are in Lydenburg.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm well, thanks for the call.
Great. I just wanted to ask the spokesperson of Lily Mine 2 questions. Question number 1 is, did they have any geotechnical and geological risk assessment done before they set the entrance of the portal? Because if you look at the geology of the Barberton Greenstone Belt, you do have shear zones in there that pose a risk to any infrastructure. So I wanted to ask if they did have the geological and geotechnical risk assessment, and whether DMR has approved those risk assessments. Those are my 2 questions.
Okay.
Yes and yes. We have a license to mine there. That means there are certain rules that we have to follow. And one of those rules are doing those surveys and also coming up with a mining plan and a mine that is safe. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a license to mine. We also have to do rigorous and regular safety checks on the mine. And we've said it before and again, that specific crown pillar that collapsed was part of a safety check that was done in October last year, and it was declared safe. I must also add that...
So are you saying something happened between October and January?
We don't know what happened. We know it collapsed, right? But there was no indication in October when the safety check was done that there was anything wrong with that crown pillar. I must also add that throughout this whole process, our partners in this was the Department of Mineral Resources and also the union, right? And they are exactly there and exactly part of this process and part of mining in South Africa to make sure that we do not put people's lives, at risk. And so they've been part of the process the whole time. We have nothing to hide. We have nothing to fear. It's a safe mine, and we adhere to all the regulations that we have to.
Ezekiel, you're calling us from around Gauteng.
Yes, Mpo. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call, Ezekiel.
I'm fine.
Yes.
Mpo, I agree with your guest there. I think there are other things in life which are happening that we are not expecting them. But other things, when they happen, that is when we start learning that this is what we should do. So let us give them the chance that I think they've learned that what happened, they will be able to prevent it not to happen again.
In the future, that is.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ezekiel. Prof, is this common in that area?
The collapse of a mine is not common in any area because all mines are designed not to collapse while you're mining them. Some of the underground mines, some of the surface mines will collapse over time or are reused, but the underground mines are designed to actually stay open for the duration of the mining purpose or actually sometimes into the future. So for example, in Gauteng, some of the seismicity we have here is because blocks of rock are actually collapsing into the mine. But we're talking now 90, 80 years after the event. During the mining operation, they should not collapse. And so when one is inspecting a mine, I will bring in the question of the skills of the mining inspectors to be able to actually identify ground which is unstable. Are people sufficiently trained enough to recognise risk at the level that would avoid this kind of problem? And I would suspect in Africa, no, we're not skilled enough to be able to recognise an imminent disaster, even if it was staring us in the face, because our skills level is just simply not there. But it could be quite easily.
Okay, Roy, very quickly, you are calling us from around Gauteng.
Yes, Mpo. I just wanted to check with the guy there, the spokesperson.
Yes.
In such a tragedy, is it not possible that you welcome every view, every expert to help in this? But I just want to hear him. Even the pictures you are showing on the screen now, just show only one union. What is his view on the terms that COSATU was not allowed, or NUMSA, NUM was not allowed by the management in that incident to do the inspection?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a very good question. But it's always difficult to answer a question like that because it kind of takes away from the tragedy that happened here, right? And the families that are busy wondering what happened to their loved ones and that are still trapped there. In a disaster like this, there are certain things that mine management has to do. And one of them is to engage with every stakeholder that is represented at the mine, right? COSATU is not represented at the mine, right? The National Union of Mine Workers. All our workers are actually members of AMCU. We are aware that this was an issue, that they asked, if they could come onto the mine and engage us in discussion. At that point, we were busy with a rescue mission.
Okay.
Right.
let me just cut you there. Quickly, our tweets, David Seleka Jr., Spoke Matambo. If it was dangerous to rescue the miners, how safe would it be to conduct the investigation? Hashtag Lily Mine, Machira Shoka says, Mpo, why is it that the mines are considered as risk areas of work and yet the miners' employees are getting paid peanuts? Whoa. Well, not so sure whether you'll agree with that second tweet there. But what support, is there any form of support that is currently being given to the families? Is it continuing?
Yeah, that's a discussion between us and the families.
Okay,
like we
let
said
me cut
before.
you there. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.